We have exciting news here at the podcast. We officially have merchandise. We're doing a very limited run of t-shirts and sweatshirts. This one I'm wearing right now, it says Off Script. We kind of went for the old school kind of athletic vibe. Off Script doesn't just sound cool to me. It's being worn by the bold. They don't follow the plan, they make it. Whether they're creating on the fly, taking risks others won't, or speaking truth when it's uncomfortable. This person lives unscripted. They're artists, founders, thinkers, rebels, the kind who'd rather fail being authentic than win playing safe. The hoodie isn't just a look, it's a reminder. Greatness doesn't follow a script. I hope that it influences you to live your life off script, and it's going to fund the podcast, and it's going to help us get guests like today's guest, Jordan Davis. Roll it.
This is the Stephan Hogan Podcast.
So you had a publishing deal, you were just telling me before you started, and then you got a record deal 5 months later. And so you went from writing a bunch of songs, essentially, to now being a performer.
Yep.
What was that like?
Man, it was getting thrown into the fire. I moved in 2012. My brother is a writer in town. He moved 2 years before I did, and signed a publishing deal real quick. So early on, when I was taking the trips up to visit him, I was picking up these writes. I'd come up for a week and I'd write 2 or 3 days. And just with new writers that are in town or people that he had written with, and kind of been like, hey man, my brother's coming up next week. He's trying to get into it. Would you want to write with him? So just kind of early networking. I did that for about a year, moved in 2012. I was writing, I had this like plan of like, all right, if I don't have a pub deal by 2 years, I'm going to move back to Louisiana, but I'm at least going to give it a shot. I wasn't anywhere close to getting a pub deal after 2 years. Still writing a ton, bartending.
Was it like one of those, like, keep sending songs, man?
Yeah. I mean, it's like,
it's a dating process, kind of.
Yeah. And like, and still had a lot of great people that I'm still friends with to this day that I would send songs to and, get critiques on. Meeting new writers and still met, Josh Dorr was my first roommate, and we were both kind of in the same realm of like Nashville life. I was writing okay songs. I wasn't writing great songs, but I still felt like I was writing good enough songs to maybe get a publisher to take a chance on me.
Were you writing specifically for other artists at that time?
Yeah. Well,
or were you thinking in the back of your head, like, I want to cut a record?
Never. I truly never really thought about. And now, with that being said, I think every songwriter is an artist. Like, I think it's
I hate that too.
Yeah.
It's like there's artists in Nashville, and I'm like, artists is a broad term.
Very broad term. Mm-hmm. And it was so early on that like I would go into writes with people and they would be like, are you doing the artist thing? And I truly had no clue what that meant. And I would just be like, oh no, I'm not doing that. And they're like, oh, okay. And then they just viewed me as like, oh, he just wants to write songs. So, even if I think he wants to make a record, he doesn't want to do it. So what's the point in going down that road? Until I started seeing other people sign publishing deals, and I would be like, there was one guy, Robert Philhart was my guy that I moved to town with and he started helping get me introduced to the town. And I remember one day talking to him being like, hey man, I feel like people are signing publishing deals and I'm like writing with them a lot. And I don't feel like I'm even close to one. And he tells me, he's like, well, dude, they're artists. They want record deals. And I was like, well, I want one. Then, okay, I'll do it. And that's really when it started changing, when I was like, okay, well, I'll tell people I'm going after, if that'll get me out of bartending, I'll do whatever. I'm going on like 4 years of barely making ends meet, and I'm just ready to make music full time. And that's kind of when it started like changing. And I met Universal and we started talking about a record deal. And then the domino, that was like the first domino that fell. But even going back to that with like shows, the only shows I'd ever played were writers' rounds. We did Taps and Tapos or the Commodore, or like somebody would fall out of a round and a buddy would call me and be like, hey man, could you jump in and play a round? So, my first full band show I ever played was after already having a meeting with the record label about signing a deal. So I kind of got thrown into a crash course of figuring out how to play a show.
What was the biggest lesson you learned?
Oh man, from like playing shows?
Just early on. What was the first thing
on?
that really hit you where you're like, oh, light bulb?
That the songs that I thought were good were not that good. And I think there was like a little bit of a chip, or not necessarily a chip, but it was just like, I was getting kind of aggravated at like, hey man, I think these songs are great. Like why is nobody, I can't get any traction on these, and I think this is great. I can hear so-and-so singing this or so-and-so cutting this. And then, you go back and you listen to it and you're like, it was okay. Like it wasn't what I thought it was. But it helped me become a better writer. I think that was the thing that is like, I maybe tried to put a time limit on something, and something I've even told like new writers now. It's like, throw out the goal, throw out the timeline, throw out the comparison. I think it happens for you when it's supposed to happen for you. And I wish I would have approached it. I think it would have saved me a lot of sleepless nights if I would have just gone about it and been like, hey man, wake up every day, be the best songwriter you can be that day. Go in and write the best song you can write. Work hard, wake up the next day and repeat that process. And don't put if I don't have a deal in 2 years, I'm going home. Like, the best advice I got, and still advice that I carry to this day, was after one of those conversations when it was like, hey man, I think I'm doing good and I can't get any traction anywhere. A friend of mine told me, look, dude, Nashville was just fine before you got here. And when you tuck tail and go home, Nashville is going to be just fine. And that was me. That was like a career-defining moment for me, a career-defining piece of advice, to where I was like, all right.
What did that mean to you?
To me, it meant a couple things. It was like, I'm not going to let it beat me. If it does beat me, it's going to be on my terms, and it's going to be like, you know what? I gave it hell. I moved up there. I left a job that I could have done. I struggled. I met some great people. I had a lot of fun, and it just wasn't for me. And I could have lived with that, but that's really what to me, it was just like, all right, don't let it beat you. And not even in a sense of like, don't let Nashville beat you. It was more like, hey man, don't give up on a dream because you don't think it's happening as fast as you want it to happen. And to me, that's still something that carries me. I mean, that I still do today.
Dude, that leads into my question. I usually don't write notes, but I was like, I want to have some specific questions about you.
Yeah.
And you talk a lot about spirituality. And I was wondering if that's something that you struggle with, and a push and pull in your spiritual life in those early days when you're like, yo, God, what's supposed to happen? Like, I'm confused.
Yeah.
Should I keep going? Was there like a faith aspect where you're like, I'm just going to have faith and keep showing up?
I mean, that's the only thing I could put it to. I mean, if there's ever a time when faith was tested, it was between 2012 and 2015. Like those, really even 2016. Because, I had to trust that the Lord wanted me to be in Nashville and chasing music and writing songs. It wasn't like I just woke up one day and was like, oh man, I don't want to be in Baton Rouge anymore. I want to move to Nashville and be a songwriter. It was something that I talked to him about a lot and was like, man, if there's, God, show me if I need to be here, if I need to go to town, or if I need to go to Nashville and try to write songs. And eventually I got the sign, the message of like, this is going to eat you up if you don't do it. And I moved to Nashville. You had the honeymoon phase of like, oh, this is awesome, dude. I'm meeting all these new people. I'm writing songs. It's great. And then the second wave of like doubt comes in where it's like, all right, this isn't going the way I want it to be. The only thing you can do is lean on faith and trust that the Lord put you here for a reason. Because all you see is people having success and you're not having success. And then your buddies back home are kind of moving on with life. And you kind of feel like you're like stuck in the mud. You're going back home to weddings. You're seeing these people that are buying houses. Like it's the hamster wheel of like the comparison thing. And that was really, and I wish I could say I did it by myself. I mean, I had so many small groups that I got in early on in Nashville, believers that I looked up to, still guys that I write with today that early on stepped in and kind of, encouraged me to lean harder on my faith that I'm supposed to be here. But I definitely think that if I would have been living by the world's standards, as opposed to what I think that the Lord has put for me to do, I definitely would have. I think I would have tucked tail and let it beat me.
Yeah, you mentioned comparison,
the thief of all joy.
After multiple number ones, people would look at you and be like, "Oh man, like that's making it."
Yeah.
Do you struggle with imposter syndrome?
Yeah, I think everybody. Maybe not everybody. I don't want to speak for anybody else, but yeah, for me, like, definitely, and it's hard to not, or at least for me, it's hard to not when you're in a town with so many talented people. I go right with people all the time where I'm like, dude, this kid's great. Like how's he not where I'm at? I mean, I trust that I'm writing the best songs that I could do. I think that's been the biggest thing for me to kind of kick that out. But yeah, there's still some shows that I show up to and I'm like, or rooms that I'm in that I'm like, how am I here? Like, dude, 10 years ago, I was barely making rent in West Nashville. And now I'm opening a show for Luke Combs in a stadium in Australia, or throw in any other awesome venue or experience that music's given me. So yeah, I mean, and I think that's, and to be honest with you, I don't think imposter syndrome is like, I wouldn't even like frame it as that. I would just say like, for me, it's like, dear man, thank you, God, for putting me in this situation. But also realize that like how hard I have worked to get here, and to not just be like, all right, I made it. Like, this is it. Like, I think if anything that kind of keeps me, if it is imposter syndrome, it's something to keep me driving to become a better songwriter, become a better writer, better artist, better singer, better performer, something to continue to get better and not just get in a spot where you feel like, all right, I'm good.
Yeah.
That's a scary place to be.
It's almost like a competitive spirit that I think you have to have.
Yeah.
In order to be able to be successful, because if you don't have that drive and that fire,
yeah,
like you said, I'm going to give Nashville hell. Like, I'm going to give it all I got.
Yep.
But that takes a certain wiring.
Yeah.
And a certain framework, I guess.
Yep. It's definitely, yeah, I mean, it is. It's you're your own boss. I think that was one thing that I learned early on in Nashville that was like, there's the writers that went out a lot and, maybe termed it as networking. I would have rather been at the house, like trying to come up with a new idea. And I'm not saying that they did it any way that was wrong, because a lot of them went on and are super successful. But for me, it was like, that was my first taste of like, oh, if I want this, I can't just like, I can't go at it half speed. And, a lot of that was Saturday nights. Like if I didn't have to bartend, I just stay at the house and play guitar with my roommates and see if we could come up with some type of idea, or, it was it was something that it consumed me. And maybe that was because I moved to town a little later. I was a little older. So I had a little bit better of a work ethic. But yeah, there was definitely the being your own boss was something that I learned pretty quick. And I think some of those things helped me out a lot early on in Nashville.
Yeah. Because it's really like entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Wrapped up in creativity.
That's it. And showing that you're, being on time, early on, that was like big for me, like making sure I was there. Every ride I went into, I wanted to have an idea. I wanted to be able to bring something to the table. And, especially those early days when you have the rights with the guys that like you're begging to get in the room with, and somebody pulled some strings to help you out to get there. And you're just expecting it to get canceled, and like 10:30 comes around and you're still texting like, hey, am I still good? Like, is this going to happen? You want to go into those as prepared as you can. And even if you don't walk out with a great song, at least that writer that you've been looking forward to writing with can at least leave and be like, okay, that guy, he gets it. He works hard. He came in with an idea. He did that.
What is it?
Just be prepared.
Yeah, I think that's really important. But I would also like to like draw it out on what is being compared, because, or prepared, sorry, being prepared. Is it coming in with like a chorus? Is it coming in with a verse and a chorus? A whole song? I think a lot of people are like, I think I need to have more than just a title.
Yeah.
If I'm having a big write. So what is it for you?
I mean, sometimes maybe, for me, it was like at least having a title, maybe 2 or 3. And if you did have a title, be able to, if you're in there, I remember like the first time writing with Casey Beathard, who is one of my favorites. I had a title. I had like a little bit something mocked up melody thing, and then had another title that I didn't have anything for, but just in case he was like, yeah, well, you got anything else? And I think that's like prepared, like just to be able to anticipate what a next question might be. Well, I got this idea called, stacking bricks, and I just say that because there's bricks behind us, but anticipate like, all right, what are you thinking? Where are we going with it? Be able to kind of speak that out.
Because the question would be, what does stacking bricks mean? Yeah,
it's like, all right, we come with an idea like that. What are we doing? What are you thinking verse? Where are we going to? And then draw it out a little bit further. Well, do you have anything on it? Like, do you have like a melody or anything you've been kind of messing around with? Maybe have that. And it's okay to say no. It's luckily with Casey, he came in and had an idea that day, and I was like, let's go. Let's write a Casey Beathard idea. But yeah, it's just kind of having that like, just showing up ready to go to work. And, this is fun. Music's fun. Writing songs is fun. And it's easy to kind of, or at least for me to think like you just kind of show up and like, we're all good enough. I'm not that good. I'm not a good enough writer to just show up and be like, all right, where are we going? What's the vibe? What are we doing? Okay, cool. 2 hours, we got a song. It's great. Let's go. I'm not that dude. I have to kind of really dive into it and be as prepared as I can.
Are there any of the number ones that you have that you wrote and it was just another song and you never imagined it? being a number one.
Yeah. Dude, I'm so bad at like picking what songs are going to like, that really is the worst quality I have when it comes to music is being able to hear a song and be like, oh dude, that's it. Send it. Like, it's great.
Is it because you're so close to the art that you don't have the perspective that you should be able to have, like on a macro level, to listen to it?
Maybe
from the other person's perspective.
Yeah, like from like, you know, even from like a fan's perspective, I kind of struggle that because I just listen to music. Like, I grew up a fan of songwriters. Like, that was like my kind of North Star. So, and songwriters in a sense of like John Prine, Christopherson, this guy's my dad loved.
Yeah.
And, so yeah, maybe it's like tough for me to be able to step out of it and be like, all right, would a fan appreciate that? And I usually go to like, yeah, probably not. Nah, it's fine. We'll move on to the next one. We'll write another one tomorrow. Next thing you know is that song for me. A title that like, and that wasn't even my title. I came in with an idea for a song that just like starts at the introduction of two people and then goes through the whole life until the end, and until the lights go out. And I didn't want a chorus to repeat. I wanted it to truly be just a linear song.
It's a story.
Just a story from start to finish. The story of two people's lives and how it goes. And I just had my first daughter. I'd had my daughter, and kudos to Graylin, Josh, and Chase, who were in the room, that probably in the back of their minds were like, oh, dude, this dude doesn't even want to write a song that has a chorus that repeats. Like, there's no, like, what are we doing? And both of them, all three of them were like, all right, the idea, next thing you know, gets thrown out. And then it's like, dude, that's it. Next thing you know, you get married. Next thing you know, you have kids. Next thing you know, you have grandkids. Next thing you know, you're checking out. And that was like the song that I felt so fulfilled leaving the room. And then like the songwriter brain says like, yeah, that's cool. I'll probably leave in your emails for the rest of your life. And luckily, I'm also not good at turning songs in. And there's a lot of people that will back that up.
And what does that mean for people that don't know?
So like writing a song and like turning it into my publishers, my label, my management, like letting people hear
sending it over.
Emailing. And like, yeah. And Stephanie at my label heard the song from one of the other writers and called me and was like, what is this? And I was like, oh yeah, I wrote that with Graylin, Josh, and Chase. It's great. I love it. She's like, yeah, we need to go record it. And I was like, really? A song about getting married, having kids, and dying? She was like, yeah, it's great. And next thing you know, it goes on to do what it does. But yeah,
what did that teach you?
To kind of, well, to send songs over a little more. And also to like, to get out of my way on it. Like to get out of like what I think a song is and what I think the life of a song is, as opposed to like, you know, I think as songwriters, we're writing about our life and our past experiences, and we're putting our words onto it, but it's not really about us at the same time. Like we are writing this for other people, or at least that's what I like to think that the guys I named, you know, Prine, Christopherson, I don't think they were just writing it for them. I think they were writing it for us. Mm-hmm. So we're in that same situation now. So I think it taught me to be a little more open to that idea.
That's interesting, because I'm curious about when it comes to transitioning from this writing thing to live. And you referenced it early on where you're like, the songs I thought were good, they did not translate.
Yeah.
You know? And you guys were probably not playing for huge crowds either back in 2016, but you fast forward as your career is growing. Do you have songs where you're like, I want to write this song because I know it's going to be a banger live and people are going to love it. And then I have this song that's super personal to me, and you have to ride a balance between the duality of thinking commercial and thinking, I'm going to sing this song and really like it's close to me. So when I sing it, it means more.
Yeah. I think if anything, yes, there is like that battle of like going in, now we're in a totally different spot to like go back to first record, even a little bit of second record. You're like, all right, I'm just going to write songs that mean the world to me and go out and play them and hopefully they connect. And when you're playing smaller rooms, you can do that. And or at least I noticed like, all right, I can get away with a little bit easier there. Then you kind of take the step up and you've got a longer show and you kind of learn how to put a show together. And I've had people help me with that. And I even go back and look at like shows that move me where I'm like, all right, I'm a massive fan of this artist, but like he didn't just sit up there and grab his acoustic guitar and play acoustic for 90 minutes. He kind of took us on a ride of, tempos up part of the show, and then we slowed it down, and it was a experience. So yeah, there are times where I'll go into a room and be like, maybe not express this to writers, but I guess I'm kind of doing it now. But it's like you have an idea of where you want this song to go, and it's like, all right, well, we've been on tour for a while. Songs 1 through 5 are in a great spot. Kind of lose them somewhere in between 6 and 7. The dip's too much. I go from this song to this song. I'd like to have something that bridges, Take It From Me, one of our early singles, to Buy Dirt. Like I don't want to just make that jump. And so you kind of go in with at least like an idea of what you want there. And it's been, I feel like it's made the show better for me. It's made songwriting fun because you at least have like a dartboard you can kind of throw at.
Does that translate to the album? Because I'm curious, because I feel like for a sec there, it was like all about singles.
Yeah.
Just like single after single after single. And now I think I see people releasing singles, but it's always because it has a purpose to lead up to a body of work.
Yeah.
And I like listening to vinyl because it forces you to listen to what the artist's intention was.
Yeah.
And when it comes to choosing tracks, is that something that you feel strongly about in terms of intention for the listener?
Yeah. The sequence is, it's been something I've never been great at. It's extremely important to me, but,
I'd imagine it's really hard to like.
It's tough.
What's after that one? Yeah.
I've, again, I have a lot of people that I trust with my music.
Yeah.
That can kind of help me out with that. And I think too, it's like, I never want to just be like, this is it. These are the 17 songs. This is how they're going to line up. Go. Like it's done. You don't even need to listen to it. It's perfect. That's not the right way to go about it either. I love outside opinions. We have tour rehearsals right now. It's like I want somebody to come in and almost tell me like, yeah, this works. Your set list works. And I also want somebody to come in and be like, hey man, it's okay. I think you can make some tweaks. Same thing with making a record and lining up songs and being like, all right, this is my initial draft and what I'm thinking. Does this listen down well? I'm always so close to it that it's good to kind of get an outside ear on it.
I like that because there's a humility there. And I think that it's important. And from this conversation so far, I've gathered, what your strengths are.
Yeah.
And what they aren't. You've
100%.
Been like, I'm not good at this, but I'm good at this.
Yep.
I need people to help me with this. And I think that's so important, just not even in music, but like in life.
Dude.
For people to know what their strengths are, because some people will fight what their strengths aren't their entire life.
Yeah. And
it's just, taken away from the strength. I think that's really interesting and important to point out.
And I learned that through marriage. Like that was where it was like, oh, that was like the eye-opening, like the real thing of like, you know, what's the most important thing here? All right, I'm not good at this. Enter whatever it is, you know.
The dishes.
Not good at the dishes, not
That's
good
me.
at, yeah, like, and even drag it out to like the heavy, dishes, making the bed. My wife hates to make the bed. She wants me to make the bed. I don't like making the bed either, but like, had to get over it, you know?
Yeah.
But even like, and that's a stupid small thing of it, but like,
Well, it's even in like, you could, like you're saying, drag it out into like love languages.
like, dude, I'm not good at, I'm a terrible gift guy.
Mm.
My wife loves gifts. So it's like,
See, that's how it is with me and my wife, man.
that's it, dude.
They're the opposite.
They all love, she likes to give gifts?
No, like my love language is words of affirmation.
Yeah.
And that's like the thing that she's worst at of all of
Yeah.
the love languages.
So you kind of have to like figure out how to make that work.
Yeah.
And there's no reason why you can't drag that into every part of your life where it's like, hey, I'm not good at this. I mean, you look at it into like sports does it, you know, businesses do it. It's like, if we're weak in this area, we got to get stronger. The thought of like bulldogging it and being like, no, I'll make it right, usually ends up not great. So if I take my strengths as what I think as a songwriter, as an artist, and just highlight my weaknesses. And I think a lot of that too is just being comfortable enough to be like, I'm not good at this. Like, this isn't a strong suit of me. Can we go find somebody to help out in this area? That's truly how you're going to find, you know, that's how you're going to get to the highest level of success. So yeah, I'm really good at being like, hey, that's not my bag, man. I'm not, I need help here. I need help. I'm not afraid to ask for help.
Yeah. I think that's really important, man. Because we all have that ego that's like, nah.
Yeah.
And fighting that ego.
That's a tough one, man. It can throw some punches.
Yeah. Are you stoked for the new record?
I am, man. It's been it's been a long time coming. I think it's been, you know, probably over 2 years now since we put a full record out. But I've had, and the two things I wanted to do with this album, and I have it in a notebook at the house because like it's like when you close up the chapter on the last record and everything going forward is on to the next project. It takes a little while for me at least to kind of be like, all right, what do I want to do? And I wanted to, the first thing I wrote down was I want to have fun writing songs, I want to have fun recording songs, and I want to have fun singing the songs that we record. And I think when you listen to this record down, there is a lot of, you know.
I did this morning.
Thank you. And I hope that you left it being like, man, I would go see this live. Like I want to see this guy.
It felt like a banger after banger.
Yeah, and that's what we wanted to do.
It felt very like, oh, there's a single. Oh, there's a single. Oh, there's a single. Because your choruses were just hitting, like they were great.
Thank you.
But it was like song after song after song. It reminded me of when like FGL first came out and they put out their record. I don't know how many hits they had on it.
I'll take that all day long.
But it was like banger after banger after banger.
Yeah.
I feel like your maybe just the ethos of your idea kind of coalesced into this body of work that's just a bunch of like fun songs that people want to hear. Like I hate listening to slow songs, but I also love them at the same time.
Yeah.
I have this weird relationship with it because it depends on my mood. But the fast stuff is what I want to hear live.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's what people want to hear live for the most part. And then you have those breaks.
Yeah. You have the moments where you can introduce those, you know, the Buy Dirts, the Next Thing You Knows. And we've, you know, those are my two biggest songs that I've put out. Which just so happen to be a lot of times when we play them live, it's me with a guitar, and you know, it's a moment that's special, and I love that part of the set, but I don't want to live there either. So this record has definitely been like, hey man, I love playing love playing live music, and I love my band, and we've truly over the last couple of years really had fun. We just are having more fun on stage than we've ever had, and I want to make a record. I wanted to make a record that would be fun to play live, and that's what we did with Learn the Hard Way.
What do you think is the catalyst to you having more fun on stage than ever with your band?
Well, I mean, a lot of it is we've all been, I think my drummer is the newest one, and he's been with us for six or 7 years. My guitar player is coming up on his 10th year with me. We've gone through a lot of life together. I've seen all of them have kids. They've seen me have kids. I think that, in all honesty, I think it's every night we get to line up backstage and be like, dude, we get to go play music for an hour and a half. Like, in you name where, in a bar, at a state fair, in an arena, in a stadium, wherever. It's like, dude, this is our job. Like, this is what we're getting to do today and calling it work. And I think that just through the years, we love each other, and we just have a blast playing music.
Yeah. The Brotherhood.
Yeah, absolutely. It's family. I mean, it really is like, it's a touring family.
Do you ride on the bus with him?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. We're all loaded up.
Because not every artist does that.
Yeah.
I feel like there's sometimes like the seclusion side of touring.
Yeah.
So that's cool that you're with your bros.
Yeah. It's we still like each other, which is shocking. But yeah, we still get along pretty good.
That's great, man. I wanted to tell you a song, my favorite song from the record. And it happens to be a slow song, or like as Jesus Wouldn't Do.
Oh, thank you, man.
I didn't, when I was listening to it, I didn't see the writers on it.
Yeah.
Are you one of them?
Yeah.
All
I'm
right.
on that one. It was
okay, sweet. Because then we can go into it. Because there was like, you were talking about a straight line and then not being straight, when, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I don't remember the exact lyric, but I was curious about that song, how it came to be.
Yeah, we were, so that was me, my brother, and Josh and Matt Jenkins. I probably, the group that I write with more than anybody.
Your brother?
Yeah.
Do you write with him more than anybody?
Yeah, I probably got more,
Okay.
And a lot of that's just because, like, he'll come over to the house he's got 3 kids. We just had another one, 4 total. And so I see him a lot. So when he comes over the house, it's kind of like, hey, man, I had this idea. I'll be like, yep, save that one. Let's write it. So he's got more of an in.
Yeah, of course.
But Josh and Matt Jenkins, the other set of brothers on that, we all wrote Buy Dirt together. I wrote with Josh and Matt a song called Church in the Chevy. That's one of my favorite songs I've ever written. So Jesus Wouldn't Do, we were writing a song. We were on a totally different idea that day. And we were out at a spot west of Nashville and inside trying to figure out what we're doing with this song. We all just we could all see that we were kind of tapped out on it. And finally, I think Jacob was like, dude, what if we just go sit in these rocking chairs outside with one guitar and see what happens? And we went out there, we started talking. Anytime you're around the Jenkins bros, it usually starts as like a small group, and then it kind of evolves into a songwriting session.
Mm. And by small group, you mean like
we sit around.
Spirituality.
Yeah, he'll he's always got his Bible with him. He'll read a verse, and and it's one thing that I love about him. Like, he wears it he shouts it from the mountaintops. And we started, talking about, whether it be what we're going through. He's quick to ask, like, hey, man, is everything good at the house? Is there anything I pray for you on? And somehow we got on to past mistakes, screw ups, And Josh said, thank God that he gives us grace for things he wouldn't do. And immediately we're all like, guys, we got to write that. That's amazing. And wrote it fairly quick and with just an acoustic guitar, which is kind of cool nowadays to like be like, oh, sweet, we can still do that, and and not that there's anything wrong with sitting down with keys or tracks or anything like that, but it was just we just hadn't done that in forever. We hadn't done that since Buy Dirt, and to have that song come out of it was pretty special.
Yeah, it's awesome, man.
Thank you. I'm glad you like that one. That was one of my favorites. That's my mom's favorite song. So,
oh, sweet, scoring points.
Even though she doesn't like that I sing about getting put in handcuffs, but it's all good. I didn't get arrested. I just got put in handcuffs.
You did?
A couple times.
Hey,
but no record. So we're good.
Hey, you're all good, man.
Yep.
Sometimes.
Yep.
We all make mistakes. We're
That's
not
it.
perfect. We're human.
Yep.
What's it like after the show when you have this crazy like adrenaline and then you're back in like eventually a quiet space after you had thousands of people? I'm going to use this word loosely, but like almost worshiping you, like you're a celebrity and they know your songs and they're singing them out. And it's like, gotta be, I don't know the feeling, but it's gotta be something psychologically. I'm just thinking like on like a brain level where your brain releases a lot of dopamine, probably a lot of chemicals, cortisol maybe.
Yep.
And then for you, is there a crash afterwards? What's that come down like?
Yeah, I'm, I think a good thing is like with my band, we've been together for so long. It's usually like you walk off stage. I usually take a shower because I'm pretty sweaty. So that's a good like kind of cool down. The great thing is like the band comes on right after and it's usually like, hey man, my bad on that second verse on Slow Dance, dude. It's like immediately they're thinking like, hey, or if I miss something, it's my drummer coming on and being like, hey dude, remember that break. Like you kind of sang through that. Or, somebody coming in and being like, guys, I was out of tune at the start of Tucson. I'm sorry. I'll try to get there. It won't happen tomorrow night. So it's an immediate like kind of check in on like how the show went. And that kind of helps in the like, I listened to a podcast on Granger Smith about what you were saying about like the push and pull of like having people scream at you. That's a really cool feeling. Having people yell at you and, all day tell you you're awesome. It's also a very dangerous world to live in. One of my favorite reminders of this is Thomas Rhett when we were touring in Canada, and he was saying like, dude, there's nothing like being on the road and having everybody cater to you. And then getting home after that, like your show's there, you're doing the meet and greet, everybody's screaming at you, singing your songs with you. And then you get home on Sunday and your daughter's like, hey, Dad, can you go get me a glass of orange juice? Like just the absolute flip of like, oh, I'm not that guy anymore. And that was pretty helpful to me. I mean, Thomas has been huge on like kind of helping me walk that line. But yeah, I never want to, it is a weird thing to have people scream at you. I don't feel like I've ever been that guy that I've wanted that. But I think you just switch it to like, dude, this is awesome. This music connects with them. Because if it wasn't connecting with them or if they didn't love the music, they wouldn't be there. There's a million other things that they can be doing. So if anything, instead of like viewing it as like oh man, dude, this is awesome, dude. Everybody loves me. I would just view it as like, dude, I'm so grateful that those people showed up tonight to watch me play music. Like, that's the coolest thing ever. And that's kind of where I leave it at. Like, I'm just grateful that they're there. I've got the best fans in the world, and I'd never want anybody to think like, dude, that guy thinks he's out kicking his coverage a little bit, man. Like, he needs to chill out. I never want that to be said about me.
Would you say that you don't find your identity in it then? In like the performance side of being the guy that people are screaming at?
Because I can't. That's the absolute, like, the end all be all on so many levels of, like, from, I think it has to be, and not to get super spiritual, but it has to be that you're a follower of Christ first and foremost. It has to be, because if in my world, and I hate, I'm not a preacher, but like, in my world, it has to be that I have to be a son of God. If that gets thrown off, then I'm not the husband and the father that I need to be. And if I don't have those three things, then what does anything else matter after that? So the second I start to put being a singer or a songwriter in front of any of that stuff, that's just a disaster waiting to happen.
I like that, man. Because I think
I hope I answered your question. I feel like
no, you did. With social media, do you have someone that manages your account?
Yeah.
So you don't have to go on there all the time and be posting.
I still try to, stay up with it. But like, we have weekly meetings and like,
yeah.
But I mean, yeah, you could ask anybody on my team and they're going to be like, yeah, Jordan's terrible at social media.
Yeah. I wouldn't do
There's
it.
There's somebody in this room over there that would say like, yeah, he's not good at that.
Yeah, dude. Because that's not your strength, because you know what you're good at.
Yeah, that's it.
And I'm not either, but I think that the social media world has created where, we got these arbitrary likes and comments or whatever.
Yeah. And
it's so easy to get sucked into the like metrics, analytics, likes, and then finding like having your joy predicated on if you feel like you were quote unquote successful or not.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that everybody faces that in your line of work.
Yeah.
And so Thomas Rhett is the one that said that to you. And was that like a light bulb moment for you?
Oh, yeah. It's been, and like, I've had, Thomas has kind of been a guy that I look up to. Is similar, doing this with a family, and I just look up to Thomas a lot. But like, he's been helpful. And there's other, Tyler Hubbard. Like, there's been other artists that have been really helpful in that realm.
Being family guys.
Yeah. It's just easier to have somebody else out there that's kind of doing the same, going through the same kind of part of life that you're going through. And it's a good, like, kind of litmus test on like, all right, where am I at? I feel like he's a little bit further, he's got a little bit more dialed in than I do. So I need to find out what he's doing that's got him a little bit more balanced in this kind of phase in life.
How do you deal with the touring side and the dad side? I'm not even thinking marriage. I'm thinking dad, because my son's, how old is he, babe? He's like 2.5. 2.5.
Yeah.
And he's like doing something new like every week. Like the other day he said a 7-word sentence and I was like, dang.
Yeah, that's huge.
You know what I'm saying? And
that's actually really impressive too, because my 2-year-old just screams and points. So
well, he's doing that too. But I think about like being away from that, and I'm like, man, that has to be hard. But you also have to probably categorize it in a certain way.
Yeah.
or compartmentalize it in a specific way to where you don't feel guilt doing your job.
Yeah.
How did you work that out?
Still working on it. I still, if anything, that's a struggle that I am constantly fighting. One of the main reasons why this record is called Learn the Hard Way is because that's one of the hard lessons that I've had to learn the last 2 years, in the balance of work and dad. And it was easy for me to be like, all right, well, this is my job, and my job is to provide for my family. So if I'm not out there playing shows, then I'm not providing for my family. So, I got to go do this. And most of that is true. And then some of it is like, okay, you are providing for your family. You're more blessed in this than you ever would have imagined you would have been doing music. And now you're missing things, or now your daughter's a little bit more upset every time you got to leave, or asking you how many more sleeps till you get home, and it used to just be one kid, now it's two. And you just like, it sits a little heavier, and it makes you kind of sit back and be like, okay, am I out this weekend because this is my job and I need to be doing it, or I'm out this weekend because I want to be out playing shows? And that's even goes back to earlier, is like, do you want people singing songs with you, or should you be at the house? And, it's just it's a lesson that I've gotten more balanced this year. This is the least amount of shows I've ever played in a year. And this is going back to probably 2016.
So a decade, basically.
A decade of playing music, to where this was the show where this was the year where I played less shows than I've ever played in my life. And a lot of that was being like, all right, it's getting that time where my kids are growing up, and I want to be there for some of those things. And it's okay that I want to tour for a really, really long time. I don't see myself I don't see myself not playing music for a really, really long time. It's something I love to do. It still fires me up. Every time I hear our intro track come on, I can't describe how excited I am to get out there and sing these songs. But there's other things that are more important than that at least now I have to just tamper the other one and be like, that's fine. That's always that'll be there the next time you line up to go out on stage. Don't miss these other things in the meantime, because you do really, really enjoy that. And that's just a balance that I'm constantly fighting with, and probably will be for as long as I'm playing music. But
I asked Dan Tominski that question. For those of you listening, he sang the song "Hey Brother," the Avicii.
Yeah.
And Man of Constant Sorrow from Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
He's unreal.
He's got like one of my favorite voices ever. But he said, because he was gone a lot too, right? Playing with Alison Krauss. And he said it was about the quality of time that I had with my children. He said you could hang out with your kids all day long, but be on your phone. He said it's about the quality of time that I'm intentional about being with my kids.
And that's been another one of those things I've had to look in the mirror and learn the hard way. That's like, hey dude, you are home a lot. You're home more this year than you've ever been. Did you capitalize on it? Or did you sit down and watch a baseball game, or hear your kids playing upstairs and sit there and scroll on the phone, and that's the thing that, like, that's 100% on me. There's no other way to explain that away other than like, no, dude, you're just being lazy. Like, you're not.
Yeah, well, it's human nature.
Yeah.
To do, because like being a dad or being a parent is hard. Like, it's hard work.
Yeah.
And it requires intentionality and doing things that you don't feel like doing, but you're like, I know this will be good and show my kid love.
Yeah.
But like, it's just human nature to want to watch the baseball game. So it's not like it's a bad thing that you're sitting there trying to check out and relax because you've been on the road.
Yeah.
But then it's also like that balance of, I heard if you have 30 minutes of quality time with your kid each day, Dr. Daniel Amen from the Amen Clinics, he's like a big psychiatrist, psychologist dude. He scans people's brains. He's Justin Bieber's psychiatrist.
Yeah.
And he was talking about 30 minutes each day of like pure, uninterrupted play with the kid. Let them do what they want to do. Don't try to change it. And he said, like, that's like the biggest thing you could do in bonding with your kid, which I thought was really interesting because it's like, oh, like that is not as hard as I thought it would be.
Well, it makes sense. You sit down and you play trucks with my son for 20 minutes, you're his best friend in the world. And it's that simple. Like, it's like literally like, you know, my kid loves to be thrown on the couch. If I throw him on the couch 10 times a day, that's all he'll talk about for the rest of the day. It's like, hey, when's dad getting home so he can throw me on the couch more? Like, it's the most simple, easiest, you know, and I've caught that as being like, well, no, man, like, let's go outside and hit the baseball. Or like, let's go outside and, you know, do whatever. Where he's like, no, I just want to play trucks. Like, dude, I just want to sit here and run these two monster trucks into each other for 20 minutes. And I'm like, all right, dude, let's go. Like, but yeah, I mean, that makes 100% sense that it doesn't have to be anything crazy or any super long thing.
Yeah.
It's just got to be intentional.
Yeah.
And he's got to know that you're nowhere else than right there wrecking monster trucks with him. So
yeah.
it's pretty cool.
I forget the name of the book, but shout out to Dr. Daniel Amen.
Yeah.
Because they did a lot of studies that backed up that data. So I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
Man, so as we wrap up and we kind of look to the future and you think about life and your career, you have 8 number ones?
Yeah, I think so. Goodness gracious. 8. Yeah, that's crazy.
Goodness gracious. You look over. Is that the number? And you look back. That tells me that back to the identity. It's not in.
Oh, yeah.
It's not in trying to get to 10.
Yeah. It can't be that.
That's interesting. Vince Gill's like that. He's got that same kind of like detachment. He just loves music for the sake of the love of it.
Yeah.
As you look to the future, like next like 5 years, where do you see yourself?
Goodness gracious. You know, I think I've never looked at it as like I want to be in these, you know, I've never wanted to put a venue on where I want to be. The fans, I've always said that the fans tell you where you need to play at. I think I want to be, and I'm just looking as like an attainable 5-year goal without putting something on. I view future goals as I have to be able to control 100% of them. So
really,
I have to, because I can't put a goal on something that like I don't really have a say in half of it, or some of it's a dice roll and maybe it works out. I'm not saying don't work for that.
I like that though.
Like,
I like that.
But I just view it as like things that I can do. All right. I can become a better songwriter. I can put together a better show. I can become a better guitar player. I can do those things. And then if I check those goals off, then who knows where like things might end up. But I think that would be like right now, I still think that I can get better at things. And those are the things that I think I can get better at. So I'm hoping in 5 years, I'm going to be wherever my career, my songs, my shows, that's going to be wherever it's at. And it's on me to get it there.
Yeah.
So
I like that, man.
I've never wanted to be like, oh, I want to be in stadiums. Oh, I want to be, doing this. I still think I haven't written the best record I've, and this one hasn't even come out yet, which, I've made the best record up until this point, which is about to come out, but I still think I could.
I think every artist is always going to feel like what they created could be better.
Yeah.
Like no matter what, no matter if it's the best thing they ever did.
Yeah.
I think that's just part of the nature of the artist.
Yeah. I would hate to look back and be like, oh, I've already written my best song. Like what are we doing? So I want to get better as a writer, as an artist. And I think too, I want to be the best husband and be the best dad I could be. And I've got to continue to search for that balance. That should be my goal. In all honesty, my goal should be like in 5 years, I hope you have this like work-life balance thing figured out. And
you will.
Maybe. Will. And if not,
no, you will.
Maybe the next 5 years, but
I think you will, man.
But I know I'm very grateful for everything music's given me, and I'm grateful that that I get to say my job is playing songs.
Yeah, man. Well, thank you very much for
Dude,
coming on
this.
This
has been awesome, man. I appreciate you sitting down and talking to me.
Yeah,
been a fan for a long time, man. So it's been cool to be here.
Yeah, dude, you're a real chill, laid back guy. I dig it.
I agree, man. Right back at you.
Thank you, man.
This is the Stephan Hogan Podcast.